I think one of the great sadnesses about the passing of Dame Maggie Smith is her naughtiness. And I can't think of very many actresses or actors who are quite as naughty as Maggie Smith. And it goes all the way back. I think one of her first jobs was in America in a review, and she was terribly unhappy. And she tells a story about being found in a lift by Julie Andrews, who gave her a cup of tea. And I think it's all that sort of the chance encounters, and this mixture of kindness and naughtiness, which in Maggie Smith's hands becomes quite arch. And Dame Edith Evans, she says, taught her the idea that if you don't understand a line, just make it sound naughty, make it sound dirty. And it's so good. It doesn't just work in the theatre. I think it works in everyday life. If you don't quite understand something, just make it interesting. The words themselves are interesting. And it's that joy that Maggie Smith brought to the love of words. And I don't know whether Ian McKellen does the same thing. He seems to make words sound miserable and nasty, not naughty. And I think Maggie Smith has this lightness of touch which will be sorely missed. A lot of that goes back to Kenneth Williams. She tells another story about how she was doing a play, a Shaffer play with Kenneth Williams, and how he was such a great teacher. He was quite catty, of course, and his diaries are vicious. But Maggie Smith had this 3-page speech, and she said, she took a breath, and all she could see was the words and the 3 pages to get through. And he says, "Why don't you make it interesting? Why are you so boring?" And he says, "You don't talk like that. You say something and say, oh, and another thing. Oh no." And she attributes that naturalness, that effortless realism, I think, to Kenneth Williams, and I think she's right. Kenneth Williams, of course, became so extraordinarily unreal in ordinary life as time went on, that in a way he lost that, but he never lost the ability to make a story seem fascinating because of the way, the twists and turns of its narrative. That's what made him such a raconteur. And to think of a Shakespeare speech or a long speech in Restoration comedy or even in modern theatre, in a Shaffer play, to think of it as an anecdote that you need to bring to life. This is something Kenneth Williams did effortlessly, and it's something Maggie Smith took forward onto the stage. And I remember particularly seeing her in The Woman in the Van and in The Importance of Being Earnest, where she demonstrated that utterly. And of course in Lettuce and Lovage, when she was much younger, back in the 1980s, I think. Again, it was the control of language, and it's something we can all learn. And she, a little bit like Michael Foot, she had this ability to stop in the middle of a sentence and then point the next word. These unexpected caesuras that make all the difference. There's so much communication in what you don't say as in what you do say.